What's going on, Jam fam? So, it is update season. As usual, I did my reaction to Brawl Talk, and now we are going to be doing my W's and L's. As I said many times, in every update, there's always good and there's always bad things. And today, I just want to highlight what I think those good and bad things are. Now, remember, this is just my opinion. You're more than welcome to have your own opinion, and you can let me know what you think down in the comments. But we're just going to go through what I think the good and bad things in this coming update are. So, let's get right into it. Finally! All right, so I want to kick things off with a small W, and that's going to be for Fame. Now, Fame is something that I have hated on a lot in the past. I said that Fame had no purpose in the game, and I was begging for them to add cosmetics, and that's what they finally did in this update. And I think the cosmetics are great. You get a background for your battle card, you get an animated profile picture, and you get pins. Now, I think all of these things are solid. The backgrounds look amazing. The animated profile picture is actually super unique. I don't think we have anything else like that in the game, and pins. Pins are always fun, so that's great to have. Now, it's only a small W because honestly, it just took them a little bit too long to get it out. This should have been added like 6 months ago, right after Fame was actually introduced. So now that we finally got it, I think it's great and I love it. So yeah, small W here.
Hey, that's pretty good.
All right, moving on, let's talk about the Brawlers. I think the Brawlers overall are a W. Now, let's first kick things off with Angelo. He's definitely the Brawler I'm the most excited for in this upcoming update. First off, Angelo is a sniper Brawler. I know we have a bunch of those, and I'm normally not a fan of sniper Brawlers, but Angelo seems pretty unique in that he has a charging mechanic, so the longer you aim his shot, he actually will do more damage, and he can do up to 4,000 damage, which I think is actually pretty nuts. Second off, he's also a little bit of a healer, where his super drops a healing area for him and his teammates, and he can hang out in it, and while he's in it, he gets a buff to his main attack that causes poison damage over time when he hits people, so I think that's very unique. And it's also a damaging area if anyone gets too close to him, so he can put that down and run away. Overall, I think Angelo is just a super well-designed Brawler. I think he looks really fun. He is going to be very strong. I do predict that he's going to be like on the more OP side of Brawlers, so that I'm not really looking forward to, but other than that, I think he's a pretty unique Brawler that I'm excited to get a hold of. All right, next up, let's talk about Melody. Now, I'm not 100% sure if Melody is a W. I think she's a small W in the fact that she is pretty unique, but other than that, I don't think she's going to be like crazy fun or anything like that. She's got a very basic main attack where it shoots out one very small projectile, and it doesn't even do a ton of damage. It only does a little bit over 1,000 damage from what we saw in the Brawl Talk, but it is unique in that she does gain spinners every time she lands a main attack, and if you get close to people with those spinners, those do like double the damage. So you can stack damage pretty quickly when you're playing Melody. She's also very unique in that her super is a dive, but she also can stack super, so she can stack 3 of these dives and just jump all over the map, jumping on people, getting kills, and then jumping out. The only thing about her is that you can't recharge super, so you have to use all 3 before you can charge up your next round of supers, which is a little unfortunate, but it is a decent balancing change in my opinion. To me, Melody seems okay, but I don't think she's going to be like super OP or anything, mainly because she's going to start out matches very slow with very low damage. She's going to have to build up her attack stacks, and then she's going to have to build up 3 supers, and then she can start diving on people and doing a ton of damage. And then after all that's reset, then she's gonna be like back down to her base form, which is gonna, like I said, is gonna be very slow. Overall, I think these Brawlers are pretty unique. I know Angelo might have a couple of rehashed mechanics, but I think overall the kit together is gonna feel like a very unique Brawler. And then Melody, she's got a lot of unique mechanics on her own. I think she's gonna be a lot of fun and very interesting to play, but I don't know if she's gonna be very OP, and I'm not super excited for her specifically. I'm more interested in Angelo. But anyway, Brawlers are a W. Let's move on.
You serious?
All right, so we just ran through 2 W's. Let's drop an L real quick. Now, I think that the reporting card is an L. I'm not a big fan of this. I think they really didn't think this through, and I don't think it's going to be very positive for the game in this update. First things first, I think people are going to spam this report card more than the devs actually thought of, and they're going to use it kind of like Kudos, where it was intended to, you know, actually have like a purpose, but people are just going to use it to be toxic. So when you play bad, people are going to report you just for your bad play, and I know they try to counteract this by adding a bad randoms button, but let's be real, anyone looks at that and they're going to be like, well, that's just like going into the void. So I'm going to report them for either griefing or I'm going to report them for hacking. I know I'm being very pessimistic, and I'm definitely like considering the community can be pretty toxic at times, but let's be real, you're going to rage at games, you're going to want to report people for their bad play. It's like I said, it's just like the Kudos button. The Kudos button was implemented to be a positive thing, to give people a thumbs up when they played well, but it ended up just being a joke of a thing and throwing up a thumbs up when people played bad. And the fact that you can get banned from ranked just because people want to be toxic and report you for bad play, I think those 2 things combined is a huge negative, and I think they really didn't think this one through when they implemented it, so I'm not excited to see this get added into the game.
Ooh, shiny.
All right, let's move on to the next W, and that's going to be the new game mode, Trophy Escape. I think this is actually a genius idea from the devs to add this type of game mode. It's an extraction type game mode, and those games are very popular, so it totally makes sense that they want to try something like that in Brawl Stars. Now, this is a game mode where you want to collect trophies from either dead bots or dead players. Then you want to hold on to those for as long as you can and try to escape when you have a decent amount of trophies saved up. Like I said, extraction shooters are actually a pretty popular genre of game mode, so it's very interesting to see Brawl Stars try to implement that into the game. And I actually think this is going to be pretty fun. I think people are going to enjoy it quite a bit. I only have two concerns about this game mode. First off is that how many trophies are you going to lose if you just get wiped like immediately? Are you going to lose the normal 10 like a showdown match, or is it going to be a little bit less? Honestly, it probably should be 10, but I would like to see it be a little bit less. That way, you know, it doesn't have like such a negative effect on your actual like psyche when you're playing the game. And then the other thing is that if you're trying to extract with trophies, is it going to like notify players that someone's trying to extract? It probably should notify people that you're trying to extract because, you know, like it would just make sense to like try to make extraction a bit of a punishment. And if you get out, it will feel like a reward. But the only problem is that it may discourage from people actually wanting to extract, and then it'll just turn the game mode into showdown with bots, and nobody's really going to play it. If that's the case, then people are just going to go to showdown because you could probably win more trophies playing that way. So it's going to be interesting to see how the community actually receives it. But like I said, I like the idea, so I got to give it a W here.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
All right, now let's talk about the biggest change being added into this update, and that's obviously going to be the removal of Power League and the addition of Ranked mode. And I'll be straight up, I don't know whether I should give Ranked a W or an L, because there are a lot of good things being added to Ranked, which would make me want to make it a W, but there are a lot of bad things as well, and I don't know if those offset it to make it an L, or if it's like, you know, the good outweighs the bad. So let's talk about all that right now. All right, so let's start talking about the things I do like about Ranked. First off is that there is now a minimum level of Brawlers. You need to have your Brawlers to level 9 before you can play them in Ranked. And when you get to the higher ranks, you need to have at least 12 Brawlers leveled up to 9 just to play. I think this is a good change because it does remove the griefing of playing with low-level brawlers and just throwing matches. I also like that at the lower ranks, it's a best of 1 match as opposed to a best of 3. That means at the lower ranks, it makes the matches go a lot quicker and you can push up a little more quickly, and it's less time-consuming if you only want to push up to diamond or whatever. They also added a duo queue for ranks, so now you don't need to play in a full stack or have to do solo. Now you can just pair up with one other friend and join into rank mode. So I think that's a positive change. And then finally, the rank cosmetics just look pretty sick. It's definitely worth grinding for. And if you get like a couple badges on it for reaching the same rank multiple times, I think that's pretty cool. So overall, I think those look really great. So like I said, there's a lot of good things, but now let's start talking about the things I don't like about ranked. All right, first off is going to be the resetting of ranks at the beginning of every season. Now, I don't know how severe it's going to be, but if you're taking Masters players and you're crunching them all the way back down into Bronze rank, that is going to make the beginning of every season just extremely toxic and very, like, not worth playing until people push up, and then you can have a, you know, a more enjoyable time pushing your rank. Because if you're not a Masters player and you get crunched down and you get paired against players who are Masters, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to have no shot of winning, and it's just going to be very frustrating. But like I said, that all depends on how severe the resetting of ranks actually is. Next up, the removal of bling for star drops kind of sucks in my opinion, because one of the things that I really liked about bling is how it gave you autonomy over how like your cosmetics looked on your profile, so you could pick and choose everything. Now it's a star drop, so now if you don't want to get like, I don't know, like player icons or player profile pictures, now you're gonna get stuck with those because now it's all stuck on a star drop as opposed to just getting bling outright, and then, you know, you spending your bling the way you want. So again, I think that they're leaning way too heavily into star drops. Now we're getting rank star drops, which kind of sucks. Not a big fan of that there. And then there's the big elephant in the room, and that's going to be the modifiers. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think the modifiers should be there at all, but I do think it is actually okay to have the modifiers at lower ranks, because if you're more of a casual player, the modifiers will be a little more welcoming to you, and, you know, it might make the game a little bit more enjoyable. So I can understand them being up to like gold rank or whatever, but when you get into the higher ranks and people don't want the RNG in their matches, they would just rather have, like, you know, your straight picks, bans, play. I think that that's a mistake, having them at the higher ranks. And then on top of that, I think the modifiers they picked for ranked are actually kind of bad. I think they're really going to have a detriment on certain types of team comps. For example, Quickfire is actually really going to benefit brawlers like Miko and Mortis when they're just going to be menaces when they land attacks and get on top of you. Barbed Ammo is really going to favor brawlers that have spam type attacks because they're going to be able to build up damage over time very quickly. Detonation over time is definitely going to be detrimental to both tanks and throwers, where they're not going to have the walls or the bushes to cover them. And then something like Sick Beats is a mistake because it just totally removes brawlers that have CC in their kit, because their kit is built around the CC, and when it doesn't work, they don't work. The good thing though is that they are open to feedback, so if they feel like it isn't being received well at all, they could end up possibly just removing the modifiers entirely, but that remains to be seen. Just to reiterate what I said about ranked, I think there's a lot of good things, but the modifiers make me really question it, plus a couple other changes. But I do think the modifiers are good at lower trophies. Like I said, it may make casual players more interested in playing ranked, which could be a good thing. I think my perfect ideal for ranked is actually to remove the rank drops and give you bling, so you have autonomy over what you get, and then actually just remove the modifiers from the higher ranks and give people their actual competitive mode. But if you leave the lower ranks with the modifiers, it may make it more casual, and it may get people actually interested in playing ranked, and you never know, they might want to push up higher because they enjoyed it so much. So I think that's the perfect scenario for ranked in my opinion, but you guys can let me know down in the comments. All right, so here we are at the end. Overall, I think this is a decent update. I think there's a lot of good things being added to the game. I gave it 3 Ws. I really like the Brawlers. I think Fame getting its cosmetics is great, and I think that Trophy Escape. I think that Trophy Escape is actually a pretty decent mode. I'm excited to see how people receive it. I only gave it 1 real L, and that was going to be the report button, because I don't think they really thought this through. I think it's going to be more of a toxic thing. And then as far as ranked, I like some of the things they did with ranked, but I'm not 100% sure if it's a whole W. We'll have to see what the pros actually say and see if there's any changes that come down the line. But overall, I think it's a very solid update. As always, like I said, this is my opinion. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video. And if you're new, consider dropping a sub as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.